Welcome back to Coffee with Christie. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Mike Ralston with Lending. And I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you both here today, Tony and Manal Massoud. And it's so funny. So I'm going to really quickly tell everybody how we somewhat met. So I always like to tell the audience how we connected.
That's right.
So we were actually friends on Facebook, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And then I don't even know how, but I followed you guys. You guys followed me. No idea how we connected. One day, Tony reaches out and he's like, "Hey, Christy, how do we know each other?" And I'm like, "I have no idea, Tony." And then it's like, "Hey, let's connect." Yeah, let's connect. And then like a couple of days later, Manal reaches out and she's like, "Hey, Christy, nice to meet you. How do we know each other?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but your husband just reached out to me too." And so that was really cool that, it happened. And then we kept saying, Manal and I kept saying, "Let's get together for coffee.
Yes.
Let's have a conversation."
Absolutely.
And it didn't happen, right? We just kind of kept missing each other. And it was New Year's Eve.
Yes.
I sent her a quick text and said, "Happy New Year's. Let's get together." And then the rest is history.
Absolutely.
These two energy is so contagious. It's like you just know when she calls, I'm already smiling. I already know I'm going to hear her smile on the other end. So it's just like automatic. Same with Tony. So the first time we met was on Zoom,
That's right.
And Tony had his big smile, and I was like, "Oh, I love these people. I don't even know them, and I love them."
That's
but
right.
I really wanted you to come on because I love your story. So let's kind of start at the beginning. Because I know it, but our audience doesn't, and I think it's such a powerful story. So first off, you guys were a young couple. How old were you when you got married?
18.
Wow. And then Tony, you owned a business, correct?
Yes, a mechanic shop here in Riverside, California, actually.
How did that come about? What made you decide to own a mechanic shop?
So we came here from Venezuela in 1991, and the circumstances didn't allow me to get a job.
Okay.
So I had to do my own thing to generate money. So I went from ice cream truck driver, okay? And then one of my friends actually said, "Hey, you can make a lot of money in the mechanic business. It's a mechanic shop down the street." And yeah, we saved up about $20,000 and got into the mechanic shop without even knowing how to fix a car. Yeah. I was taking classes at night to fix cars and the daytime practicing in the mechanic shop. So
now you said you came from Venezuela. Were you born there? Or?
Born there,
Okay.
yeah.
Or were you born there as well? Is that where you guys met?
I was, we met in Lebanon.
Oh,
I was
wow.
born in Monrovia in Liberia.
Okay.
I was 2, and then when my parents went back home to Lebanon, and that's where we met.
So were you on vacation there?
yeah, so my grandma lived in Lebanon. I hadn't met her. So at 23.
You had not met her yet?
No.
Wow.
So at 23, I was just left I sold the shop here, so I had a chance to go actually and meet my dad's home country and my grandma for the first time. And 3 months later, that's when, I met Manal.
So you came to the United States from Venezuela first, had your ice cream truck, had the mechanic shop,
yeah.
then went on vacation, and you met your beautiful wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so tell me about the mechanic shop a little bit. So you open it up. You don't really know what's going on. So was it trial and tribulation? Was it pretty easy? Did you have somebody to help you?
No, learn from your own mistakes over
love it.
and over and over. And you don't see things coming, no mentorship. But, I love the industry. I love helping people. And so I love working on cars. That was, just to figure out how they worked.
Yeah.
So I was very passionate about it. And that was, but there was no way of me to grow.
Okay.
Yeah, you need a lot of capital and you need some experience. I didn't have that experience.
So I'm just curious because I think we all remember like our first transaction, our first whatever. Do you remember the first car that you worked on? Okay.
Chevy. And I remember it for the wrong reasons.
Oh.
Yeah, the check bounce.
Oh.
The client's check bounce. And that's the life of a business owner.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And so it puts a sour taste in your mouth and you don't want to do it. And you don't want to wake up the next day.
Yeah.
And it was my first big job, $1,500.
Wow.
I underquoted the job because it was brand new.
Yeah.
And so there was only a $200 profit, and that didn't come through. So,
Oh, wow.
but live and learn, you know.
So did you go after the, did you ever get the money, or no, that guy walked away with
Yeah, it
a
was
fixed car?
This is 1997.
Did you know how to fix his car, or were you like, thank God I didn't know what I was doing? He was trialing.
No, we actually did a good job in the car. You know,
like, it's probably going to fall apart as he drives down the street.
no, it did good. It did good actually,
good.
but
Awesome,
it is what it is. You know,
Okay.
it's part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so how long were you in the business before you both came back, when you came back with him? Was because you already had the business, correct?
Right. So we got married in 2003.
Okay.
And that's when I came here with him to the States. He had a smaller shop when I first came to the States. And the minute he had an opportunity to expand and buy a bigger shop, that was around the same time that our daughter was born at the end of, it was November of 2003.
Yeah.
So it was the same month, right?
Yeah, I got
That,
the shop and we got
same
Zaina.
month that Zaina was born. That's where he got the shop. And from there, you know, he started working there, and he was working a lot of hours because
Yeah.
when you're a business owner, the business owns you.
Correct.
So he was there morning till like first to open, last to close. So we would see him, you know, a few hours a night, basically at the end of the night. Yeah.
You were coming home super tired. So I just want to point out really quick that one of the things that we have in common is our children start with Z.
Yeah.
Both yours and all four of mine start with Z.
Yeah.
So when we met, we're like, what?
Yeah.
'Cause that's not common.
No,
right?
but it's
Yeah.
not.
I thought it was neat to stick to one color, one
One
letter.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
for
so
sure,
it's-
for sure. So, okay, so now you're owning this business. You're at home. You have a little child at home,
Mm-hmm.
a baby. How old, like, when did Primerica kind of come into your lap, and how did it come into your lap?
So it came in 2008.
Okay.
The economy was dropping. I was losing our original house because we didn't know about finances. We were in debt. I was stressed out. Nobody
Yeah.
to talk to. You think you're by yourself. And worse, I ended up getting injured at the mechanic shop.
Oh, wow.
And from something as simple as a sneeze. I sneezed and,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
cracked my back. And I couldn't walk for 2 months. For 2.5 months, actually. It took
Isn't
me
it
about a
amazing
year.
that something as simple as a sneeze can, like, take you out for
Yes.
such a amount of time?
Yes. And at the time, my aunt actually had been calling me for Primerica and telling me, hey, listen, you got to come check this. And, you know, when I heard insurance, I'm like, no, thank you. You know, because I'm a car guy, you know, and insurance, you know, I just didn't know how it worked. So for 3 months, and then I ended up getting injured, being at home, not being able to walk. And so she saw it as a great opportunity to come to the house because I couldn't go anywhere. And I had to listen to her. So that's how the opportunity was presented to me. You know, we had a conversation before they came in.
Yeah.
And we had said, we're not going to do nothing. We're not going to join nothing.
He gave me a big old speech.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Because
for
his
sure.
aunt had called me that day saying if she can come over. I didn't know the behind story that, you know, how persistent she's been for the last 3 months. So when she called, said, okay, I'm going to come over, you know, I'm bringing this guy with me. We're like, okay, come over. And I went and I told him, babe, she's coming. She's bringing somebody with her. And he said, well, now they're going to try to sell me something. They're going to try to get me to join something. Why did you say yes? So we had a conversation. We're not joining nothing. We're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
we pinky swear. He made me pinky swear, lock it.
For real.
So that was it.
When she was first telling you about it, was she trying to get you signed up with insurance, or was she actually trying to get you to join the company?
To sell insurance from the
Okay.
mechanic shop. Because
Oh.
we also do auto insurance. So she's like, hey, you know what, auto insurance, people come in, you could give them the brochure and, you know, offer the auto insurance.
Got it.
But
got it.
I just didn't see it,
Got it.
you know.
So she found this opportunity. You're laid out. There's nowhere you could go.
Yes.
She has, you know, but to come over.
She had tried to come to the house before when I
Okay.
wasn't injured. And I seen the car outside, and my brother was my neighbor, my actual next door neighbor. So I would jump the fence, go to his house, and, you know, when she come into the house, I would get in my car and take off.
How
So-
long was she doing the business before that?
For about
visit?
2-3 months. She was
Okay.
and she
So
was
she
in
was
real
in-
estate.
and she was in real estate.
Yeah. And so for 2-3 months. But she was very everyday persistent.
Wow.
Every day.
Okay.
I mean, she's a regional vice president with the company today. Too.
Did you ever ask her if she was like that with other family members, or was it just you?
As far as I know, it was just me.
And did you ever ask her, what about me that you decided to be the most persistent with?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, good.
And it was because we actually had started the same. We had started from the mechanic shop. She had another mechanic shop.
Oh.
And, so we had a connection there. And we worked together for a minute. Mm-hmm. And so we had this, energy. And so she was like, hey, if somebody's going to do it, it's going to be you.
Was she the person that got you into the mechanic industry?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Well, kind of. Yeah, but she actually, kind of. Yes.
Okay. All right. So she shows up at your door. You pinky promise that you're not going to join. What was the flip?
The services.
The services.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how to get out of debt. How to open a Roth IRA. Yeah. I had tried to open an investment account, a couple of banks, and I felt like they were looking down at me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like that. I always felt those places not feeling great about myself.
Do you think that it was because you were from another country that you felt that people were looking down at you? Or was it because of your debt? What made you feel like that when you walked into these atmospheres?
Maybe because I used to go from the mechanic shop. I used to go in my uniform. Maybe I didn't know how to deal with people either, insecurities. Mm-hmm. Because you get into those industry and there's not a lot of self-improvement. Mm-hmm. You're not developing yourself. You might be developing your skills, but not yourself personally. And, so you don't know who you really are. I didn't know who I was actually at the time. And so you go to places, you feel insecure. Well, I felt insecure.
No.
Because you're talking about money and you think that you need them.
Well, not only that, but you can feel like just because you're coming in with your uniform, they're judging you based on that, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But little do they know that you're the actual owner of the company.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That you're, I get that. I understand that. So she presents this to you. And it just like makes your brain.
Yeah, she brought actually our coach today, which is Mario Arizan. And she brought him over. He was a 23-year-old kid. And
how old were you at the time?
I was 31.
Okay.
His energy was contagious. If you think our energy is great, his is times 10.
Nice.
And, the way he explained the services, I loved his energy. So I'm like, I'm going to become a client. Yeah. Manal looked at me crazy.
I kicked him. Yes. I kicked him under the table.
She did.
What happened to the speech you just gave me? What do you mean we're joining?
This is amazing. I want to do this.
So your initial was not necessarily to join, but it was like I could get out of debt. I could get, financially set. So get rid of, do something that the banks weren't offering me.
Yes.
Okay.
And I brought some of my paperwork. I had some insurance paperwork and all that. I brought some of them, and I found out that they weren't the best for me.
Got it.
And so I had referred this person to a couple of my friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I seen that I could do better, I got up and actually started calling them to set up an appointment so they could see Mario.
Wow.
And, that's how he said, hey, you know what, when we go together, let's go together and we could maybe do the business together. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And that's how we ended up joining.
You know what I love is that you didn't look at a 23-year-old like, what am I going to learn from you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were open-minded, and it's the same thing. You walked into the bank and you were judged. You
right.
could have easily turned around and judged him just because based on his age, right? Mm-hmm. It's something that we see all the time. Mm-hmm. People are always judging by the way you look.
Right.
They don't, by the however age you are, whatever, there's someone that's always judging, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I love that you guys were open-minded. Well, first of all, you kind of had no choice because you brought him in. But you still could have been like, I don't care, I'm not going to listen to you.
Right.
And you weren't.
Right.
Okay, so you joined the business. You still have your mechanic shop, right?
Yes.
Wasn't this also going through COVID at this time? Or
this is 14 years ago. So this is,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it was the economy going down at the time because of the housing market.
Yeah.
And, so that was going on. We were losing a lot of my clientele because they were in construction and they were leaving the country.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a big hit. We were losing the house. And so I started making money in Primerica to almost to keep the mechanic shop
Afloat.
afloat, so I wouldn't lose it completely.
Were you doing this on your own, or did you join with him? Were you also making calls?
The minute he joined, right away, his first guest was me to come with him to the office.
Nice.
And I enjoyed that I could be part of it. Because at the mechanic shop, there was no room for me. As much as I wanted to be part of his world and it's our business, even if I would go, I would meet him for lunch, and that was about it. You know, I always.
Say he hired you? For
I
a
said
minute?
one time, I told him, babe, let me help you. I'll just run the office, do invoices, like just let me take care of the desk. He hires me that same day. He fired me.
Yes. Yeah,
We couldn't
sure.
work together. And to me, it wasn't, I mean, it's a mechanic shop. So I
Yeah.
didn't feel that I belonged there. So I always wanted to be doing something together. We just didn't know what it is. So the minute this opportunity presented itself, I was just happy that I can build something with my husband.
So it wasn't necessarily that you couldn't work together. You just couldn't work together under that umbrella.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
this was
It
the
wasn't-
thing that really, yeah.
Yes.
The right place. And we're having issues in the household because, you know, she wanted to do something. You know, she wanted to do better. And so for me, I always felt bad about it because, you know, where can I, you know, help? And for her to leave and do something completely different, that wasn't an option because of the kids.
Yeah.
So when this came in, I'm like, perfect, because we could do this together.
Yeah.
We could work together. So I'm like, can she come in? Can she sign up? She's like, yeah, she's actually the person invited. I'm like, thank you. Yes.
So what did your aunt say that day when she left? I told you.
Yeah, obviously, yes. Still today, thank God.
Still today?
Yes.
Thank God for
We're
her.
very grateful, you know,
Yes.
that for her persistence and,
Yeah.
you know, her getting us into the
Yeah.
business.
Sometimes we're fast to say no to something, but
Yeah.
we don't even try to attempt to see what it is that we're saying no to. It's so
Right.
crazy how we just assume things.
Yeah.
So thank God she was persistent.
So when she left, what did you tell Tony? I thought we weren't joining. What happened?
We were excited. The minute she left, we knew that, okay, this is good. This is what we were both praying for. Because he was at a place in the shop that he wanted more. He was praying for more. But his only option was to buy another shop. There's a cap on how
Yeah.
much that shop can produce. And if we were barely seeing him, imagine adding another shop. You know, it's not possible. And for me, I just wanted to do something, be part of something.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jeopardize being a mom. At the time, we have the kids were 3 and 5, and I didn't want to jeopardize any time with them, not have to pick them up from school, miss their awards at school, things that are important to them. I wanted to be involved, a present mom, yet do something for me. So we both found what we were looking for in that same opportunity.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
from the beginning we knew, like, this is it for us. You know, this is it. We wanted to do this. It just, you know, one of the things that our mentors at the time, he was 23, and we were sitting in the garage. It was supposed to be an hour appointment, was a 5-hour appointment. He stayed over for food. We watched a Laker game, and in there,
This is the
he's-
day your aunt brought him?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And in that day, he said, I said, so what, you know, are you doing something else? Is this something you do just on the side? He goes, no, I want to be the youngest $1 million earner in the company.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, well, and ever since I was 8, 9, I used to tell my mom, I'm going to make $1 million in 1 year. I'm going to do that. And she would obviously laugh a little bit, you know, like, yeah, mijo, okay. So when he said that, I'm like, wait, is that possible here? And he goes, absolutely. There's so many of them. He counted them. I'm like, if I could help you, then I could learn how you did it, and then I could do it. Is that how it works? He goes, yes. I'm like, I'm in. I'll help you. And that was one of the biggest motivators for us later on, especially when we're going through our own trials and tribulations, to keep us going, because it was something that we said we were going to do. And in 2016, 16, he actually became the youngest $1 million earner in company history.
Wow, that's
At
awesome.
the age of 29, and we
29.
were a big part of that. And so for us, it was an unbelievable moment.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So having, you know, they say you are like the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
And all this time you just said it, you told your mom, and your mom's like, yeah, okay, you know, sure.
Yes.
You know, and often the people that we look to first is our parents, right? Then we look to our siblings. And if they have the same mindset that you can't, there's limitation to that belief, then it can somehow rub off on you, right?
It does.
And then you have somebody who comes around. So you had a mechanic shop thinking, I own my own business, but I'll never make that kind of money.
Absolutely.
Like you already knew, you already felt that there was a cap to what you could do.
Yeah.
And, you know, without sacrificing more of your family, there was a cap to what you could do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, God brings you this person who's like, no,
Yes.
there's no cap. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that you listen to him, because sometimes that's all it takes is that little ray of sunshine to like shine down on our dreams for us to go, okay,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
got this.
I
Right?
can go after it.
Yeah, we can go
Yeah.
after it. Okay, so you own the mechanic shop. You're also doing this business. How long did you keep the mechanic shop before you guys decided, okay, no more of this? And then wait a minute, before I even go there, you guys like, you know, really went forward in the beginning, right? Didn't you like break some type of record in the beginning?
We got promoted. For us, I guess it was a record. You know, we got promoted to the broker position 18 months. Most people, what happens when they start something is that they do it on their free time,
Got it.
and that doesn't work because that's like a hobby, and hobbies cost you money.
Yeah.
You have to free your time to do your business. And so I was finding time from the mechanic shop, an hour or two in the daytime, and going to appointments and trying to grow this business.
Got it.
So about 8 months later, I came back to the shop from an appointment, and the mechanics that I had working there, that I was paying, every week, they had a meeting, and they gave me an ultimatum. They told me either the mechanic shop or Primerica. And so I walked outside. I had a conversation with Manal on the phone, and I'm like, this is the ultimatum that my employees gave me.
Your employees.
They're giving him an ultimatum.
Usually
It was
it's
funny.
way
It's the
around,
other way
yeah.
around. But they actually had a meeting when you were gone.
Yes. And so they made
Same.
it very simple. And that second, I came back in, I grabbed their tools, walked them out, closed the shop, called all my clients, had their cars picked up. And just that shop cost me around $250,000 to open in 2003. I closed it down. So for me, that was like the money that I had invested in this business. So it wasn't, because, it wasn't a joke. I'm like, I'm investing a lot to make this happen. I have to make it happen. And so we were very serious about winning in this industry.
Were they completely shocked that you chose to close the shop down? So it actually backfired on them, right? They
Yes.
thought that you were going to say, okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
But we
Just
left it
out
like,
of curiosity, are any of them on your team?
No.
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 There were, some of them were we made them clients, but no. And that's one thing. Either you change your friends, like you bring them over, or you change your friends and get new friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you are who you hang around.
Absolutely. So just out of curiosity, what did your family say when they found out that you were shutting down your, and I already know, like, we have to do what's good for our household, what happens underneath our roof, right? But that doesn't mean that mom and dad, in-laws are going to say something, brothers, sisters. What did everybody say when they found out that you shut down the
Well,
shop?
they thought that he was crazy, midlife crisis. What are you doing? You have a home, a house, a wife, 2 kids. What are you doing? Leaving your own business, trying to follow this dream? What
They
if it doesn't
brainwashed you.
work? They brainwashed you.
You drank the punch.
Yes, the Kool-Aid.
the
Yes, we
Kool-Aid,
drank
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody
Except for-
had
except for your aunt, right?
My aunt, well, she got it too.
Oh.
It's because she's part of the business, so she was like, why did you get them involved? It's all their fault. Look at what's going on. They're losing everything. So they wouldn't just be logical and say they were losing the house.
Got it.
They were in debt. They were saying, they were blaming everything on the business when in reality wasn't true. We were already a mess
Right.
before coming in.
But they didn't even know what's happening within your 4 walls. They were creating the scenarios to the situation.
Yes.
And even though you're like that's not what's happening. They didn't care. They already had things going on in their own mind,
Yes.
creating it, and then they take it out on your aunt because your
Oh
aunt's the
yes,
one who
anything that had to do
introduced
with
you.
the business. Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy because there were anything that would happen, they would try to. Oh, it's a business fault. Anything I could get a flat tire. It's a business fault. It's unbelievable how they do it.
Yeah. If you weren't driving
Yeah.
and having to go to the appointment,
Yes.
That would have not happened.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yeah.
All right, so let's move forward. You quit the business. You are now just doing Primerica. And then tell me, so I know you guys went to an event and something else happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This was, we were in the business 2013.
Okay.
I had an event in Canada, actually. I flew out to Canada. Manal had been having some health issues, like a cough. They had said it was bronchitis, like pneumonia. But we went to the doctor. The doctor gave her some medication. She took some shots, and she was looking okay. So I ended up leaving to this trip. And, if you want to continue the...
Yeah, absolutely. So it had started with a cough. And like Tony said, they just kept giving me antibiotics, sending me back home. First it was bronchitis, then it was pneumonia, then they would give me those antibiotic shots. Until at the end, I walked in and I said, okay, well, I just can't breathe. That's when they started doing imaging. And by then we're still thinking it's just curable with the shots. He had that big old trip already planned ahead of time in Canada. So he had just left when things started getting worse. And I went in and I saw the doctor. That's when the imaging results just came back. And he said, from here, you're going straight to the hospital. So they had ordered the ambulance. As he's telling me, the ambulance was already pulling up.
And you're in Canada during
At the
this?
time,
Yes.
he's in Canada.
Wow.
We had just actually landed. It happened
Yeah.
pretty fast because we got there, and at night, we're about to go speak. It's a speaking arrangement. And that's
Yeah.
when we're getting a whole bunch of calls from everywhere. So you
Yeah.
kind of know that,
Something's happening.
yeah, something's happening.
How long did it take before the doctors decided that it was necessary to do imaging of your lungs? How many visits, how many months passed by before?
Well, easy 3 months
Yeah.
before the imaging were ordered, because it was a cough. So first they gave me cough medicine. Next time around I went back, and then they gotta give you like 10 days follow through. If you don't feel better, come
Come
back.
back, yeah.
Second time I went back, they said, okay, it's bronchitis. There was no imaging involved,
They
no
just-
blood work.
They just did a diagnosis without even
Heard the
checking.
lungs, you heard it, and it heard that there's, whatever they hear, right?
Yeah.
They said it's bronchitis, gave me antibiotic. You got to go 10 days on your antibiotic until
Yeah.
it's done. If you don't feel better by then, come back.
Yeah.
And it just kept going like that. And I would hold it. I would think that, okay, it will go away, let's give it time. The body will recover, but things kept getting worse. I was just out of breath at the end. So by the time the ambulance took me, I went into the hospital. That's when the doctor came in and said, you have a massive tumor wrapped around your heart. It's so big that it had pushed your left lung to collapse. You're breathing on half of your right lung. I don't know how you even walked in here. There's not much we can do. It's too late for chemo. We cannot do surgery. Kind of like, we don't know what to do with you.
And
We're just going to send you upstairs. And by then, Tony's in Canada, and I'm thinking, okay, wait, don't say nothing anymore. We're not making no decisions tonight. I need my husband to be here, and then we'll go from there. Because I knew that I needed his mental toughness. I needed his support next to me, which the family's amazing. They were all next to me at that time. They were all with me when they were giving me the news. But we had gone through so much preparation here in the company. See, when you join a business, something new, like Primerica, you're in it for yourself. It's a different route, something new you're learning. It has its own challenges.
Right.
With that being said, you have to learn how to be tough, how to be mentally tough, how to
think.
deal with things, how to think, how to not overreact. All of these things that applying it into our personal challenges is what helped us. So the minute they gave me the news, I knew that, man, that's the reason why Primerica's in my life. Because that prepared us for that exact moment. Because before that, I was not that woman.
Yeah.
I wasn't the tough one. I was more on the negative side than the positive side. I'm being honest because it's not something you grow up and you just say, oh, I just want to be a positive person. You follow the crowd. It's easy to be negative. It's way harder to smile, way harder to look at the good in things. And until you start taking that journey of growth and reading books and listening to audios and surrounding yourself with successful people that they teach you how to think and how to be and how the power of your words, the power of your thoughts, all of these things. So at the moment we knew that, okay, we had to apply everything we learned in the business and deal with this just the same way. And the minute Tony walked in to here from Canada, he walked in and from there we just locked arms and the journey started.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you didn't even, did you go on? Did you speak? Were you?
Yeah. So as soon as I landed, first thing I did, took the doctor to the side and I said, "What's going on?"
No, but and when you were in Canada, did you?
Oh
speak?
no.
Because
They
you were
left
already-
early.
You were already getting phone calls from
the
home.
longest, most horrible
Flight.
flight in my life.
I'm sure for both of you because you want him by your side and he's trying to get there and everything's out of your control.
Yes.
Just because of the location that you're at and having to fly home.
The hour drive or an hour and a half from Los Angeles, LAX to here. My goodness. It was.
You're like,
it was,
move,
yes,
everybody.
exactly.
Move out of my way. You know, they always say when, you know, I'm not giving excuses for crazy drivers, but, you know, they say you never know. Maybe they're in a hurry.
What's their emergency?
Yeah, you don't know what their emergency is. So just kind of like get out of the way, let them do them.
Yeah.
And that was probably you that night, like wanting to get to your wife.
As soon as
Right?
possible. As soon as possible.
You told me this. Share with our audience. You said you walked in and you took the doctor aside.
Yeah, I took the doctor because he was coming in with some, you know, to tell us what's going on. I'm like, one thing that we learn is to filter, you know, what goes into your mind.
You learned
And so-
that through Primerica?
Yes. Yeah, how to filter it and how to compartmentalize. So took him to the side. I said, give me the news because it's how you give the news. That's everything. And he was just very cold. Said, hey, you know what? We never seen the case like this in California. We don't even know what exactly it is. And, you know, the way it's looking, in case in her heart, you're looking worst case scenario. And so you got to go home, prepare for your things. And 3 months, I'm like, I cannot believe that he was talking to me like that.
Yeah.
So, in a nice way, I kind of fired him. I told him, do not seriously go into I just didn't want his energy around my wife.
Yeah.
At all.
How long had you been with Primerica at this point?
6 years.
Oh, okay.
2013, no, 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5
okay.
years.
All right. So continue. You told them
So
not to go back into the room.
Yes, so, you know, my brother and my brother-in-law were there. They thought I was crazy. He's like, you can't talk to a doctor like that. I'm like, no, absolutely. If he's going to talk to me that way,
Yeah.
I could tell him to, you know, just go see another person.
Yeah.
So I walked inside, and I looked at me, what's going on? I said, hey, they can't treat you here. Everything's going to be good, but we might have to take you to another hospital. And
Yeah, but I never heard that I was given 3 months to live until I was already.
So the doctor was telling you what your diagnosis was, but didn't give you a time frame.
yes.
Yeah.
Do you think it was because you told him, okay, I need you to stop. I need my husband here first. Do you think he would have told you, or do you think?
I think so. The first doctor that saw me was at the ER. So he just saw what he saw and said, we're sending you to oncology
right.
and then they'll follow up with you.
Gotcha.
So by the time I went to oncology, no doctor had came to see me yet. And by then Tony had arrived. So Tony was there to filter the news. They gave him the news first. He said, you're not telling my wife that.
Yeah.
So I never knew I was given 3 months to live. And that's what he probably waned to do to protect
Absolutely
my
not.
mind
She could not
Right.
hear the news.
from
Right.
that negative seed because it's just going to
Grow.
grow.
When did you find out that you were given that time frame?
After I was already cancer free and we would tell our
Really?
stories and he would say that part, I'm like, you never told me that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And I love that the doctors honored that. You said, do not tell my wife. And
Well-
they honored that.
Well,
The new doctors, I should say.
Oh,
right?
no, well, yeah, I kind of trained the first doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, not to come in. I'm like, you're not going to come in, whatever you do.
Yeah.
I don't care. When the second doctor came in, you know, I was ready to just go to another hospital. But she came in, she's like, Mr. Massoud, I know you're kind of upset. I heard what happened. I'm like, I'm like, okay. She's like, can we pray first? And you could feel the energy.
Yeah, her energy was definitely different. She was genuine. She felt what we were going through.
Gave us hope.
She wasn't cold. Yeah, it makes
Gave
a
us
huge
hope.
difference.
Told us of 2-3 cases scenarios of people that had something similar. It wasn't the same, but they have beat it.
Yeah.
And so gave us hope and gave us, started with God first. So
Yeah.
we knew she was the right doctor for us.
That's awesome. They say that in anything, and I think it's true too, and I know that you guys do as well, that however your mind is, whatever you are telling yourself, like you said earlier, words are so powerful. And when you're telling yourself, I got this, we could do this, then you automatically go in it with that mentality.
100%.
But if you have somebody that's saying, too bad, so sad, then you're more
You
scrambling.
believe it.
You're more scrambling. You don't even know what to do. You can't think clearly because you already have, like you said, somebody planting the negative seed.
Yeah.
And, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And on that point, our coaches, they planted positive seeds.
Yeah.
So they said things like, this is something that's going to make you. It's a test. You're going to turn this test into a testimony. This is something that you're going to be helping people in the future because you went through it.
Yeah.
Now you could help other people. And we bought that story.
Yeah.
She's not dying of cancer. She's living with cancer.
Yeah.
I
love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we took that approach and say, you know what? God is going to use us.
Yeah.
And actually, that's exactly what's going on today.
He did tell me multiple times that, God uses his toughest soldiers for his toughest battles. And one day you're going to be an example and just example of strength and inspiration for so many that they're going through that. So just keep going. Watch your example and watch your story one day. And at the time you're like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
At the time you don't see it, but you choose to believe it. And
Yes.
that's why the power of who's around you, who's in your ear, who's touching your heart, who's planting those seeds in your mind it's crucial.
Yes.
It's crucial.
I was a little bodyguard at the door of the hospital.
Yeah.
People would come in crying. I'm like, nope, you can't come in. Go wash your face, tell yourself a joke, do something, but you're not going to come in with that energy to see my wife. And they were like, what? I'm like, she is okay. She's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Yeah.
And they will go out, do what I told them, come back with a smile. You're welcome to come in.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
when they would come in, I would be in bed laughing, joking, smiling. So they would come in expecting a cancer patient that's falling apart and broken down mentally. And that wasn't what was laying in bed, right? I was hopeful, I was excited, I was giving everybody around me strength. Don't you worry, I'm gonna beat this, I'm gonna get out of it. Don't you worry, I'm good, I'm strong enough, I got this, I can handle it, things like that. So of course family is gonna be scared for you, nothing, it's the natural thing to do. But we controlled how bad they feel as well, because they would come in sad, they would leave happy, inspired, hopeful themselves that, okay, they got this, they're gonna be fine.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's not easy to be like that. And it wasn't easy. It was almost 3 years in and out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
3
mean,
years.
it came back twice. So it wasn't like a one-time thing. Remember, we had some appointments lined up for the day.
Yeah.
And we went to the hospital just for regular, I don't know what we were there actually for, but the doctor called us in.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, we got to tell you some bad news. Actually, the cancer is back and it's moved from the chest to the lung inside. We were like shocked, obviously, because in the moment, you don't know how to take it. We went back to the car.
Mm-hmm.
I think we cried for a couple of hours in the car. We had that was at 2:00. Our appointment was at 4. I told her, hey, it's whatever you want to do, we do. Obviously, I called the guy, cancel appointment. She's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
We have appointments. Let's just go. Nothing's gonna change anyways, whether we go or don't go.
Yeah.
We
What's
ended
gonna
up going
change
to
in
the
an hour?
appointment that day. We sat down across somebody's kitchen table, helped them with their life insurance and their investments. And then later on that night, we were sitting at a restaurant, me and her, with a couple of wine, and just saying, okay, together we
Here
could be
we go
anything.
again.
Yeah. We did it once. We could do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That is beautiful.
And it's not about not getting in the moment of being, it's crazy news. You thought you beat it, then he tells you, no, it's back, and it's more aggressive. And it's natural and normal to question and worry and fear, all these things. And we're all human. I'm not saying I didn't feel those things. But how long do you stay in that moment?
Yeah.
It's like it was literally like a 10-minute of crying in the car after I got out, that I can't believe this, that I have to go through this again. But after that, we both wiped our tears and said, okay, let's move on, and that's it. And instead of just sitting there in that moment for days and days and days and
Staying
days,
there.
it's how fast do you bounce back from those moments.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break for our sponsor. We'll be right back. Are you looking to refinance or purchase a home? If so, I highly recommend Mike Rolston with U.S. Lending Network. He has over 20 years of experience in the mortgage lending industry. He's a local mortgage broker and works with over 32 lenders to get you the lowest rate, as well as the best loan program that fits your needs. Specializing in conventional, FHA, VA, HELOC second mortgages, and down payment assistance programs. Don't be discouraged to start the pre-approval process because of your credit history. Mike at U.S. Lending has many lenders who can assist every borrower's situation. He has helped many of my clients with their financial needs and in various situations when buying a home. Don't hesitate to call or email him to start the process and get the best deal. His contact number is 951-318-8221, or you can email him at mike@uslendnet.com. That's Mike at uslendnet.com. Now back to the show. And we're back. Okay, so your second time they come in, they tell you have this diagnosis, but in the meantime, you're still working the business, correct? You're still, because you have still a family. You have two little ones at home. So what were you guys doing? Because I know you guys reached a great milestone during this time frame, correct? So what were you guys doing?
So when we went in, our first goal in the business was to go over 100,000 a year in income. And that's what we were going after when, I got sick and we started going through that.
Was this the first time you got sick or the second time?
First time.
First time, okay.
Yeah, we're around 60,000 a year. We didn't have the system. We're coming up, so we're making our money. A lot of changes that we hadn't done. And then she goes into the hospital, and again the family goes, I think she got cancer because of the business.
Because of stress that Primerica's causing.
How they relate everything.
Yes. The stress is what's attacking your body, therefore you have cancer.
Yeah, but it had
Nothing.
nothing to do with the business.
No.
The business is what kept me positive, what taught me how to fight. It was the opposite. So during that time is where we really, really appreciated that we were working in this business, because I was at the hospital for a long time. And he was there with me the whole time, every treatment, every time I needed anything, he was there. And I can only imagine if we had the shop, where we would be. We would have lost everything. Or if he had a job, no job's gonna say, okay, I feel bad for you, your wife is going through that. Just go, take months and months off, and don't worry, you come back whenever, you're ready.
And you're still gonna get paid.
That doesn't exist.
Right, no.
So the fact that we had already been established here and we had something to lean on gave him the flexibility, the freedom to be able to be with me when I needed him, and then go run appointments and be in training and be with the team and do what he needs to do to continue building the business.
Yeah.
And that's where we hit the milestone. Our goal was to hit that 100,000 in income. We hit it from the hospital.
That's awesome.
It was one night at the hospital, and then the team came to celebrate us. Before that, it was just him and I. And we're looking at each other that
we're checking out on the phone to see if we had cross on the website, and finally the numbers clicked.
And we celebrated, high five, kissed each other. Great, I'm proud of you. And but it was a big moment we're waiting for, and here we are at the hospital. We couldn't celebrate. And then right at that moment, our coaches and mentors walked in the room, and And then they said, hey, you guys ready? Are you guys ready? And we're like, ready for what? And then we walked to the window of the hospital, and here was the whole team in the parking
About
lot
100
of the
people.
hospital.
Wow.
With lights and banners and flowers and congratulations. And the nurses, there was like a lot of noise in the hospital. Everybody's asking, what's going on, and who's that, and do we have a celebrity at the hospital, and what is all that? And and I remember them telling the nurse that, well, you let all these people come up, or you're gonna let her go down just for a little, because it's a big celebration. And fair enough, I had an IV, I was connected to the IV, and we took the whole IV down the elevator with us and went down to the parking lot. And it was a beautiful moment, just to know that there's a support system, there's a team. You do something, but you get celebrated for your efforts. It was a great achievement for us.
Yeah.
How many people at that time did you have underneath you?
So most of the people actually in our team quit.
What?
Yes.
What?
Was
this when you were going?
When we got diagnosed, we thought, for sure, our team, the one we had, they're gonna step up. They actually, a lot of them just left. But sometimes, we heard this, analogy, and it clicked. They said sometimes God shakes a tree, and the dead leaves will fall off for new ones to come through. And so, when we had a conversation in the hospital, and I told her, I said, listen, if you give me the permission to continue to do the business, because you come first, let me do the business on my time, on the hours that I'm just sitting here, and I'll still be here for everything. She said, yes, go get it. And so our story changed, and that's what changed actually our business. What I thought was going to be the worst thing for us was the best thing for us. Because now before it was like, oh, we're just doing this to sell life insurance and all that. And then when me and my wife are trying to get the ring, and our goal is to help 100 clients this year from the hospital. And so people that would never have joined our team, they said, I'm in.
Wow.
I'll help you.
Yeah.
So we had a young lady that said, I'll help you till you hit the ring, and then, I'll continue my journey. I said, I take it. Yeah. And so we grew a team of 50, 65 people within 2 months.
Wow.
And, generated, so today, a lot of people from that are here.
Wow.
And so it changed our life. If we wouldn't have gone through that, I don't think we'll be where we're at today.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Because
our biggest blessing.
So again, it's like that support team, right? The belief in you guys, but not only the belief in you guys as leaders, but believe in themselves. So you guys were going through a traumatic time, and instead of, like you said, you thought this team was going to step up, and instead they left.
Yes.
Did any of them ever return?
No. We saw a couple of them. And we saw one of the guys about a year ago, and we're like, where did you go? Like, come back. He's like, no, I just feel bad that I left you when you guys needed us the most. And so I'm like, don't worry about it. He's like, no, I just can't. So
there was one couple that stayed with us, and today they're regional vice presidents in the company with us from that time, but everybody else was gone.
Now, what is your title now?
Senior.
Vice president. Yes.
I love it.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, so we're senior vice president of the company.
I love how they said that in sync.
And then we stopped together. We're like, you say it. No, you say it.
I love it.
Skills.
Okay, so what does that exactly mean, the position that you
So
want?
once you promote 3 brokers, you open 3 offices, you get to senior vice president. There's only 500, I think, in the whole company.
Got it.
And so it's just leadership.
Yes.
It really, it tells you there's self-development there, and other people are following them. And, that was for us a big deal. Like, that's how you show results. It's not what you say is, let me see the fruits.
Right.
And then you could tell exactly what type of business you have, And for us, it's all about people.
Right.
So we have a big crowd, and we're proud of that.
So how long, so you were in the hospital, total 3 years between, so when you got the final diagnosis, I'm sure that you go in every year and still get checked. But when you finally got the last diagnosis that you were not, that you were cancer free, you were good to go home. did you guys come home and have like another conversation of like, oh my gosh, this is what we just went through? Where are we going to go from here? Number one. And then number two, your family just saw you go through this. Originally, they blamed a company that you joined, but that company kept you afloat, right? Like you said, being in the shop, you wouldn't have been able to do what you did. Did that flip everybody's switch, or was that still like a increment at a time?
No, I think as we started winning, regardless of our circumstances, it put a great positive light on the company. Now it became more that, oh, well, I'm so glad they're doing this.
Yes.
That now they're able to stand on their feet. Because your family around you, they just want to see you take care of yourself and be able to stand, right? So us pushing through and winning regardless of our circumstances changed everybody's perspective about the company. And once we started winning, now everybody would see it differently and just say, oh, I'm so glad they went through with it. I'm so glad they didn't quit. I'm so glad they didn't listen to us, right?
We're so glad you recruited them.
Absolutely.
to your
absolutely.
End, right?
Oh, I love them. I love the business. Well, you know what? It starts because they put tools in our hands. So books, Keep Your Love On, the 5 love languages. We were married for 7 years, and I didn't know how to love my own wife. And she didn't know how. So when they start seeing the changes in you, and they will come over here, and we're not the same people. I'm not the same person. I was a little bit aggressive before to cover some of the insecurities that I had, I guess.
Yeah.
And now I know how to love my wife. I know her love languages. I was so shocked, when I found out, oh, wow, she likes quality of time. She would wake up in the morning and say, hey, Tony, can we have some coffee? And I'm like, no, I'll sleep. Go have the coffee, and then I'll go watch football. You could join me then. And basically, I was telling her, I don't love you.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we started reading those books and getting better.
Unintentional rejection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Applying it. And so the change, they started seeing it. And it wasn't because we're talking about it. It's because we're living.
Yeah.
We're living it. And so they started talking to our other family members. Like, maybe you guys should hang around Tony and Manal.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should hang around Tony and Manal, because they saw the changes here. And so people started inquiring, hey, can we hang out? Can we do this? And then seeing the business, we're making around $250,000 a year before any of my family members came into our team.
Wow.
So my brothers have...
So even breaking the 100,000 and them seeing you do that from the hospital still was not even... Yeah.
But we were not the same people.
Yeah.
We still had some type of chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
And so once we dropped that and we left with, we're leading with love and empathy. So once they saw that, it welcomed them in.
Yeah.
To come check it out.
Was it your coaches from Primerica that suggested the books to you, or
either that or they did seminars or brought people in
that spoke about it?
So obviously through them, we got open to those books and to those experiences.
Aside from the 5 love languages, what is one of your favorite books that you both read that helped you with your business?
We're big on John Maxwell, a lot, leadership books. But there's this book that called The 177
Secrets of
the World Class. That was my first book. And I like that book, and you apply it to, daily things and the business. So that was my first book. But after that, John Maxwell, all his leadership books, amazing.
He's amazing, yeah.
Yes. Keep Your Love On by Danny Silk.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Communication in conflict.
Yeah.
How to communicate. I mean, it really changed our marriage.
Yeah.
But it didn't only, doesn't sound like it just changed your marriage. It also helped you communicate with the clients that you were working with, right? Communicate with your team.
Yes, with my kids.
With your kids.
I was so afraid growing up.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was hoping I had boys, because I'm like, they're gonna be a lot easier for me to deal with. And my firstborn is, Zaina,
girl,
daughter, and I was so freaked out. A young man, I didn't know, I just wanted to be the best at. And this book really opened, it opened up for me, that world of communication, how to talk to, how to express myself, how to have.
What book was that?
Was that?
Which book was that?
Keep Your Love On.
Keep Your Love On.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's to me, it's one of my favorite books.
And it helps you with your children.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. We talked about that. Like the way that you raise your children is so different than the way you were raised, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our
Oh my
job to
God.
make it better.
Always, always. You know, no knock to anybody's parents because we all, even us, you know, our kids are going to say, I didn't do that. I didn't do what my mom and dad did. We all do the best that we can with what we know, right?
Yes.
But the fact that we're exposed, you would have never been exposed to these books. Who knows if you would have been exposed to these
No.
books had you not been in the situation that you were in or in
Yeah.
the company that you were in.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
were watching. We used to love TV before the business. We were watching. I Love Raymond.
Oh, yeah.
And in the show, the episode, there was him and his wife going to sleep, reading books, and I started laughing. I'm like, haha, like who really reads books
Who does that?
on their bed? Everybody watches TV. That's what I
Yeah.
said to her. And a couple of years later, in the business,
Yeah.
we're both going to sleep reading books. And I remember that moment. I started cracking up, you know. So
You're like, oh, so it is true.
yeah, it is. It is.
People really do
Yeah.
this.
Yes, absolutely.
Our job as parents is the business helped me tremendously see this, that gave me an opportunity for me to have the platform to grow and face challenges and show my daughter who I am, you know, especially
Yeah.
as a woman. You know, it's easy to tell my daughter, well, be strong and don't quit and, you know, chase your dreams and all of these things. But she's going to look at mom
Yep.
and ask, well, mom, did you do it?
Yeah.
Or what have you accomplished, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, to me, even going through cancer, I knew that I'm going to give it everything I got till the very last second. I know that there's no quitting in me because there's no way I'm going to look at the kids and say, Mom, quit on you.
Right.
Or teach them how can I tell them don't quit in life if I quit?
Yeah.
So us as parents leading by example, just being that example for our kids to follow has a huge difference even in the upbringing of the young children.
And isn't your daughter in the business as well?
Yes.
The minute she turned 18, she did her homework. She looked at so many different colleges that she wanted to go to. And one time she did meet, Tony helped and arranged a meeting with, one of the councils. And we're sitting there and she started asking questions. And one thing we told her, you can do whatever you want in life. You don't have to do what we're doing. You have options. But one thing we told her is that, are you doing this as a hobby? That's what Tony had told her. Are you doing this as a hobby? Or are you doing this for a career? Because if it's a hobby, it's your passion, because she was looking into fashion design. If it's your passion, you're doing it because of the love of it, then go for it. And we got you, and you don't worry about student loans. Go, follow your dream. But if you're doing it as a career, so eventually you can make money, have travel, and have nice homes and cars, then you have to talk money. And you have to look at incomes. So that's when she was meeting with the counselor. She asked the counselor that, well, how much would the graduate make? And after 4 years of schooling, $80,000 a year, then another 2 years of internship, just to get experience. So now you're already year 6 of making no money, and then start working. And the highest paid from the class was making $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's in the fashion industry.
Yeah,
right?
the example that she gave us, the person that's talking to her.
Yeah, that counselor.
And so she looked at us and she's like, "Don't you guys kind of do that like monthly?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't want to do that no more."
But the counselor didn't turn around and go,
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Can you fill me in on
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Exactly.
And she would have to give up her freedom because we're going to
Yeah.
be traveling because we have freedom. That's the beautiful thing of working for yourself.
Right.
But yet she's just enslaved to that job. She wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. So that's where she decided to join the business, and she's doing awesome.
Yes.
I met her the other night, and she said, I'm Manal's daughter. I said, trust me, babe, you like spitting image of your mom. There's no doubt in my mind that you were her daughter.
Yes.
Just
I'm so proud of them,
yeah. So, and I think, you had said it a little bit earlier, us as moms, we still want to have something that's ours, something that we can identify with, something that belongs to us. In this case, you were able to do it with Tony, but you still needed your own identity, not to take away from your identity as a mom, because you still wanted that and you still wanted that experience with them, but you also still wanted something that was your own, right? And at the same time, not miss anything, set the example for them, and still have something that's your own.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So,
why not? We can have it all.
Yeah. Just finding the right avenue to do so.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So looking back, so how long have you been in the business now?
14 years.
What do you think some of the misconceptions are of people who hear Primerica? What are some of the things that people automatically say? Because I know I gave you one of them when you and I talked. Right?
What was it?
It was like, wait a minute, this is insurance, right? Because we were not even talking like, let me sell you something. It was more like, hey, can we network?
Yeah.
She was like, show me what you do. I'm going to show you what I do. So how do you get business? I'm going to show you how I get business. Maybe we could brainstorm together. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm out. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and then after, I think I told, Joaquin, I was like, wait a minute, I need to fix my life insurance and I need to do this. I'm going to give her a call.
Yeah.
Right. But what are some of the misconceptions that you hear about the business when you tell people what you do?
Well, they usually they have experiences or they listen from other people. I went, my uncles was one of them that told me, I went and I tried that and it didn't work. Or I heard this person tried it and it didn't work. And to me, it was like, well, that's them. Okay, you can't compare me to everybody. And what about if they have bad habits, bad working habits, or they didn't have people skills? And so one of the things that we learned is people don't join the company, they join you.
Definitely.
And so when you look at yourself then, why are people not joining my business? That's very hard to do because you're going to see, sometimes you don't see your own flaws, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to go to Manal and start asking questions. Okay, what about me would I have to change?
But who would be the most safest person to do that with is your spouse,
Yes.
right?
Someone you trust that they have your best interest.
Mentors.
They're no hidden agenda.
Right.
Yeah, mentors. And so once we started fixing ourselves, our business started growing because what we do, people need. Life insurance, people need investments, Roth IRAs, auto and home. So all the services we need. We work with state license, federal license. So it wasn't the company itself. It was they went to an office that didn't have, it wasn't professional. They got a bad taste and they thought every Primerica office is the same way.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the misconceptions. And so
I think that's how it is with any business, though, if you really think about it, right? An employee who goes to an office, if that's what they choose to do, if the higher-ups are not good leaders, then that's what leaves a bad taste in their mouth, right? Absolutely. That goes the same for real estate. I know people who've joined a brokerage, and they're like, oh, I do not like XYZ real estate company, but it was that experience, not necessarily
the company itself.
Right.
Yes. I think also people don't give themselves enough time. There's a learning curve in any business that you have to, anything you join, commit to it. Give yourself at least 6 months just to learn the business. It's a new industry. It's a new company. It's something new to you. Go over that learning curve and then see if it's for you or not. But people are so fast to quit. Like in anything else, you start something and then they're out. Like the gym, come January, the gym is packed. You can't find a machine. And then give it till March. You go and it's just, you can pick and choose. All machines are empty.
Yeah,
right?
you don't go, the
doesn't
gym
mean
doesn't
the
work.
gym doesn't work. It just, people start something, they don't go through with it. They don't have enough patience. They don't commit. They're not giving themselves enough time to learn what they got involved with. And it's funny that those are the people that give opinions.
Yeah.
It's those like that did it and they didn't go through with it, right? So what we tell everybody is that if you're going to become a doctor, you're not going to take an advice from somebody that dropped out month 1 into school. You're going to ask an advice from somebody that actually became a doctor.
Yeah.
That's the one you're going to take an advice from. So depends who you listen to.
That's true. But, you said it just right now. Well, I heard so-and-so did it and it didn't work. But are you them?
Yes.
Right? You're not them. So why are you judging your life based on
Right.
The person, like you just said, who quit. I love
Yeah.
that analogy. You're not going to take a doctor who dropped out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Why would you think I'm the same way? And so one of the things that I heard from, because it happened to us. So I called Mario at the time, and I'm like, hey, my uncle's telling me to stay being a mechanic. And he said, well, if you gotta buy people's opinion, you gotta buy their lifestyle. And so I started looking at
The people who are advising you.
yes, and I didn't
How's
want
their life?
their lifestyle. They didn't have what I wanted. I wanted to retire my parents. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to make money, take care of my wife, take care of my kids. And those are things that the people around me were not doing.
Yeah.
So if I took that, I was going to have the same lifestyle. So I said, let me listen to them. And, now most of the family, 90% of the family is in our business today.
Nice.
So
And didn't you both retire, both sets of parents? Yeah.
both of our parents retired.
Yep.
We pay their bills. We take them on vacation.
Yep.
They go on vacation with us all the time.
What's their mentality now towards Primerica?
Oh yeah, they're almost like you have to join.
Grateful.
What was their voice when your daughter decided to join? Were they
Happy.
completely the flipped switch of the
Yeah.
conversation that
By
they
this
had with you?
time, this is last year. My daughter joined. The last 3 years, 4 years, especially my brother joining and my brother, right away getting a lot of success. He got to $500,000 in income in 5 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's proven
Yeah.
that the company works.
Now, this didn't happen overnight, correct?
No.
Yeah. And your first clients, how did you get your first clients? Because I think a lot of people, they, like you said, they're not watching your beginning struggle. They're seeing your end result, right?
Yes.
And then the misconception, or one of the misconceptions is, they're making this, so I'm going to make this tomorrow.
Right.
And it's like, no, you have to, first you got to go buy the seed before you even plant it into the ground.
Yes.
Then you got to do the research and figure out which land is even going to be going to produce the seed.
And how to water it.
How to water it, exactly. So where did you guys get your first clients from?
The mechanic shop or my neighbors. So I remember the first day I got involved, I got a couple of brochures and, talking to the neighbor about life insurance. And the next day, she brought somebody from another company that did financial services. She goes, Tony, you shouldn't work with Primerica. You should work with this company. And I'm like, wait a minute. How long have you known this guy? And she's like, 6 years. I'm like, you've known me for 6 years. How come you didn't tell me last month? How come you didn't tell me a year before? How come you're telling me now when I'm trying to do my own thing? And that's what happens. When you try to do your own thing, people try to distract you. Mm-hmm. And that's why you got to stay focused. And so, but we started talking to the neighbors. From there, one of the neighbors joined our business. I was super surprised, by the way. I'm like, you want to do this? Really? Wow. Saying all the wrong things.
Are you sure?
You sure? Yeah.
Are you trying to talk me out of this, Tony?
Yes.
Or?
Yeah.
And now she joined. She brought people and, slowly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So a couple of questions I always like to ask the people I interview is, what would you tell your younger self that you know now that you didn't know then? What would you tell yourself who was in the mechanic shop and your aunt was coming? Did you know about Roth IRAs back then? Did you know about life insurance then? Because I can tell you that I've had multiple conversations with people in the last week, and did your parents know about this stuff? Did your parents have life insurance?
They did.
They did. But was it what they have now?
They actually had Primerica.
Yeah.
My mom and dad did.
We were so happy. Yeah,
Yes, when we went
saw
to
that.
check it, I'm like, oh, wow, you got our company.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well,
They were okay with buying the product.
Yes.
They just didn't want you to sell the product.
Well, they didn't believe in me.
Oh,
They saw me as, I raised you and you got a bad temper and you don't know how to communicate, and when you get angry you do so and so, and so they start looking at all
and
the
this
things
is a
that we
people's
stop.
business. How are you going to win in that?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're wrong, but we can change.
Yeah. When I said I love that, I wasn't meaning that they loved that they didn't believe in you.
Yeah.
I meant that I love that you knew that's what they didn't believe in.
Yeah.
And it's like those voices can be really, really loud right?
Yes.
And what we decide to do.
Yes.
So,
But they brought it, they brought it this far. They got us this country for us to get this opportunity.
Yep.
It's for us to take it to the next level, you know, and reach a point. And so the biggest mistake that people make is that they start taking it out on them and make this situation worse. We had great mentors that told them, love up on them. That's your mama. That's your daddy. Just love up on them.
Yeah.
You know, don't mix the things. Don't make it worse. So we just kept our love on in that sense, because what people try to do is they get into arguments, and it just causes stress in the family.
Yeah.
And that's not something we wanted. So we just kept them at distance, loved them from far until we were enough. So first, they'll ridicule you. I heard this. Okay, when you got an idea, they'll ridicule you first. Then, once you don't stop, they'll oppose you. And that's what happened. Sometimes there was parties we were not invited. You know, or if you're gonna come, do not talk about your business. Okay.
Don't try to recruit my friends.
Yeah. And then they'll accept you. You know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we went through those 3 phases, and today we went from being the black sheep
yeah.
to a family, and we're, you know, the family. If you talk to any of our family members, I mean, their eyes light up, and you know, we're proud of that.
When your siblings joined the company, did they receive the same opposition as you guys did? No, because you guys paved the
No.
way for them.
Yes, they were like, finally, you guys joined.
Yeah.
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 You know, my mom now has 3 regional. All her kids are regional vice presidents with the company.
Wow. Wow. Do you just have the 3 siblings?
Yes. Yeah.
All 3.
So I'm like, Mom, you should have had a couple more. You know?
More kids.
You know.
And what about you guys? Are all your siblings?
So we're just a boy and a girl. My brother is in Lebanon.
Oh, okay. And is he part of the company?
No, the company is not in Lebanon. So
Oh. Yeah.
eventually, when he comes here, that will be the
Yeah,
plan.
most of our family outside the country, they're calling us.
Yeah.
Can we go?
How can I do what you do?
We have my cousin that came from Texas. He's a petroleum engineer. Called us, seen the changes, joined the business. Now he's a regional vice president of the company. Yeah, so it's a family business.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I know I asked the question and I didn't let you answer, but what would you tell your younger self?
What would I tell my younger self? That time is precious. I would waste less time, less energy, less worrying about just things, because what we worry about today, in the future, you don't even remember what you were worried about or what you were angry about, and just time flies. So I would just be more focused and worry less.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think that's something that you could also advise anybody now too, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why we even though we live a very busy life with our business and our family and our team and all of it, but still we're very intentional on enjoying the moment, enjoying the day, you know, regardless of what's going on. We have our time, we grab a glass of wine, go out. He's big on traveling. That no, we're gonna live our life and enjoy the moment as we're building. And it got us even closer. It kept us, made us stronger. So it's healthy.
I love it. I love it. And so one of the things that I said at the beginning of this podcast, and I tell you all the time when you call, it's like, it puts a smile on my face because I already know there's going to be sunshine on the other side of the phone call. So did that happen overnight, or
No.
because you said you were?
One of the reasons that I think changed us is when we're in the hospital the first couple of days, and then we were crying the first couple. You know, it took us by shock.
Yeah.
So we're crying. It's I think around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're both awake and crying, and then they brought another patient into the hospital, and he was crying and yelling the whole
like screams.
night, Christie. It was just where we got quiet. He was screaming, and so the nurse came in, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, he is in pain, and she said he has a cancer that when he breathes, his lungs are like sandpaper, and
with every breath.
he's in his final thing, but he's in a lot of pain. Immediately, we went, "Thank God you don't have that."
It could always be worse.
Yeah, things can always be worse.
Have you ever read the book The Miracle Morning?
No, actually, we haven't.
No. So the author, he was Cutco. He was one of the top sellers of Cutco.
Yes.
I want to say at like 21, and he got in a really bad accident. And if you get a chance to read that book, you got to read that book. But before he even was in the accident, what you guys are saying reminds me of his story. He said his boss told him, "You get 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to complain about the client. You get 5 minutes to complain about whatever you're going to complain about, and then once you complain,
Gotcha.
you wash it
Done.
and you let it go, because, like you said, things could be worse." And that was one of the mentalities that helped him get through the hospital.
Yes.
And it's funny because I tell my team that too. You could call me, you get 5 minutes, right? Because it could be, and like you said, it wasn't like you were just like, all right, I have cancer, no problem, we're gonna get through this. You went through the emotions of it too, and I think it's really important that people hear that. And that's,
Yep.
I love that you said that, because sometimes we see just kind of like the business. You started off and then you were successful. There are trials and tribulations, especially with the emotions, to get you through that journey.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not about not having those emotions.
Yes,
It's
you
about how to
still-
control them and how to manage them.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Compartmentalizing.
Compartmental. Yeah.
That was huge for us.
Yeah.
When we were in the hospital, it was Manal and our health. When we were out, it was whatever we were doing. We knew how to do that. And leave emotions, because you can't carry everything with you. It
Yeah.
just, you won't function.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, now it's time with the kids. It was the kids' time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're on vacation, it's vacation time.
Yeah.
And when we're back to a doctor, it was her time.
Be present. Yeah.
Be present. I
Yeah.
love that. So what do you guys got going on for you now? Because you guys have come a long way. Retiring your parents. You guys helped your brother with his wedding. You're cancer free. Thank God
Thank
for
God,
that.
yes.
Your daughter has joined your business. Most 90% of your family has joined your
Yes.
business.
Yes, so we're blessed.
What do you two have going for you now? What are your next goals? What are your next aspirations to go to? Because you have already achieved so much, and you're both very young still.
Yes.
So yeah. So
Well,
much.
our next goal, because obviously you achieve one and then you go on for the
Yeah.
next, right? So
Yeah.
our next goal is to become $1 million earners here in the company. And there's so many amazing examples of people that have done it. So
Yeah.
why not us? So we're midpoint there. And the
Yeah.
goal is to, within the next,
12 months.
next 12 months that we hit
love
that
it.
goal. So
Yeah, the next 12 months.
yeah.
And just how serve. You know what? I was we sometimes we chase money. We chase a lot of things. And one thing I learned is how to chase helping other people, growth, loving, serving others, and that I fell in love with serving, helping other people get what we want or what they want in their life, or what they want in their life, getting their goals and dreams, and saying, I want to do this, and seeing us in them when we first started, because we didn't believe it. We wrote our goals down, 50 goals, and we're like, do you think? I'm like, let's put it down. They say if you put it down, it'll make it happen. Confession, leads to obsession, and obsession leads to possession. And so we confessed it, we obsessed about it, and we got to work.
Yeah.
And so we help other people do that, and seeing them achieve their dream cars, their dream goals. Having a quinceañera for their little sister, one of our RVPs did that. Buying their house, doing their things, traveling the world, that fires me up. So how many people can we help? To me, there's not enough amount of people I can help. I want to make sure we help a lot. So that's our major goal.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you both so much. You guys are so amazing. I
Oh,
love
thank
your
you.
energy. Both, every single time I see both of you, you guys have a smile on your face, and it just, like you said, it's so natural. It's like, I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you for
Well,
having
we
us.
appreciate
Honestly,
you.
it's an honor. We feel your energy. You're unbelievable, and we're blessed to have you in our life. Me and Manal actually, I came down, and I know you started the conversation with this, but I came down like, I'm talking to this amazing lady. Her name is Christie. She's like, wait a minute, she does real estate? I'm talking to her too. It was
It was not
at
planned,
the same
I
time
swear.
she was talking to you. It's like crazy how things happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yes, we're all put in each other's lives at the right time that we're supposed
Yes.
to be put there, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Well, we're honored that we call you our friend, and
Yes.
Ditto.
Yeah, thank
Oh
you
my
for
gosh.
this.
No, I feel completely blessed to know both of you guys.
same here.
Not just on Facebook now.
Absolutely. Yes.
So really quick before we end, where can we find you? Where can the audience find you?
So mostly on Instagram. His is Tony and Manal, and mine is Manal Massoud. Mostly on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, that's where we're mostly at. And yeah, Tony and Manal.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much. Thank you to our sponsor, but thank you to both these wonderful people I get to now call friends.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.